Den of the Wolfman, the novella prequel to the novel Wild River by Ronald M. Kimmons. Chapter 9. The cowbell clanked as someone entered the bookstore. Durham had his nose buried in his book as usual. Looking up, he saw the peculiar man from the day before coming in again. He stepped in quickly this time, with the rays of the low sun streaking in around him and casting a long shadow across the floor. What was his name again? Oh yes, Ta'olon. "Hello again, my friend," said Durham. "Back already?" "Yes, I just wanted to tell you that I am enjoying the book very much." "Are you now? Well, good. One of the reasons I love books so much is because they can so easily transport us to another place. They allow us to become another person and have thoughts that we never would have had otherwise." "Yes, I can see that," said Ta'olon. "The writer, he really does have quite an imagination." "It comes with the territory for novelists," said Durham. "So I wanted to ask." "Yes?" "Do you know anything about making books?" "Like becoming a writer?" asked Durham. "Yes, and getting someone to print your book for you." "Well, now you're talking about publishing houses. There's a big one right here in Wild River. I buy from them a good bit. Thinking of writing something?" "Yes," said Ta'olon. "Or maybe getting someone to help me write it. I have the story in my mind, but I'm not sure I would know how to put it down well. I can read, but still I'm not a very educated man." "I suppose you could get better with practice, just like anything else. What are you thinking about writing?" "Something similar to what we were talking about yesterday." "You mean a murder anthology?" "That, yes." He seemed pleased that Durham remembered. "Okay. Some people would enjoy that, I imagine." "Yes, I would like to base it on the Wolfman. I think he has a great story to tell." Durham removed his spectacles and placed them on the counter. "So you want to write a book about all the events surrounding the Wolfman?" "Yes." "But you said that you wanted to write it from the victim's perspective, yes?" "Right. Well, you see, yes, I want to write it from the victim's perspective, but I want to specifically write about how they feel about him." "About the killer?" "Yes." "Well, that is one aspect of the story that I don't think would be very complex. They would fear and hate him. I'm not sure it would go beyond that unless they knew him personally." Ta'olon took a volume from the shelf, thumbed through it, and put it back. "Do you really think they all hate him?" asked Ta'olon. "To be sure, yes," said Durham. Ta'olon nodded. "Well, anyway, I think it would make for a good story. Where did you say that book printer was?" Durham took the book he had been reading, opened to the first few pages, and pointed to an address printed there. "That's the place," said Durham. "Here, I'll write it down for you." He took out a pencil and pad, scribbled the address on the paper, tore off the paper, and gave it to Ta'olon. "Thank you," said Ta'olon, taking the paper, folding it, and putting it in his pocket. They stood silently for a moment. Durham smiled at him. "Well, anyway," said Ta'olon, "I just wanted to tell you that I'm enjoying the book." "I'm glad," said Durham. "But you think my idea for a book is a good one, yes?" "I do think some people would be interested in that," Durham replied. "But you wouldn't," said Ta'olon, his tone sinking. "No, not really my area of interest. A bit too dark." "But what if they all secretly loved him?" asked Ta'olon. "Wouldn't that make it brighter?" Durham paused for a moment, as if seeing this man for the first time. After a moment he managed to squeeze out an answer. "No," said Durham. "I don't think that would make for a bright story at all." "Oh, do you think not?" asked Ta'olon. He strolled between the shelves, absently reading the titles printed on the book spines there. A great silence grew between them. Durham walked over to the nearest shelf, took a volume in his hand, and held it up. "I mentioned this book to you yesterday, Ta'olon," said Durham. "It's called The Monster of Mill Downs." "Yes, I remember," said Ta'olon. "I'm about to close shop now, but I want you to have it." "Well," said Ta'olon, reaching into his pockets, "I don't seem to have—" "Never mind that," said Durham. "It's my gift to you. Please accept it." "Oh, thank you, sir," said Ta'olon. He came toward Durham and reached both hands out to accept the gift. "Yes, I think you will enjoy it very much. Now, at the moment, I am a bit short on time, and I need to close up." "Oh, right," said Ta'olon. He stepped toward the door. Turning the doorknob with one hand, he held the book up with the other hand. I'll let you know how I like it." "Yes, of course, do that," said Dorum. Ta'olon stepped out, and Dorum bowed to him. "Until next time," said Dorum. "Until next time," repeated Ta'olon. Dorum closed the door, latched it, and pulled the curtains over the window. He then collapsed into the wooden chair that he kept by the counter and stared at the door.